So you are the new Basecamp manager, or maybe you just want to learn about the Basecamp manager role. So if you are an incoming club president, an incoming VP Ed, or an incoming secretary, you will have access to that Basecamp manager profile on Toastmasters International on the website. So this workshop is going to be focused on those newly elected people, presidents, VP Eds, and secretaries who want to learn this role. But anybody who just wants to see what those screens look like will find this useful as well, because I've asked two people, Brad and Wendy, who are Basecamp managers right now. They'll have access to those screens and they will be able to go through them, and we'll all see what it looks like, and we'll see how to do that role. So this is what our agenda is today. If you're a new Basecamp, so went through introductions, I'm just going to go through a level completion. I'm a regular member. Anybody who's not a Basecamp manager is not able to access that portion of the Basecamp. So I'll be a regular member and I'll complete a level. Now then Brad is going to go through the Basecamp manager's role of approving the level and entering the education award. And then another thing that the Basecamp manager can do is just see what the progress of the members in the club is at the moment, and Wendy is going to go through that. And then we'll do a question and answer and wrap it up at 11. So does anybody have any questions right now? And if you do, just say them out loud, because I can't see a lot of the screen at this point. All right, hearing none, I will just end this and we will and share. Okay. What I would like to do now is I'm going to share my screen again. I wanted to switch to the Toastmasters website, and I will show you how I will complete a level as a member. So your members will be doing this, but you might be showing new members how to do this. Okay, so are you seeing Toastmasters International right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to just get rid of that bar. Okay, I just like to click on my name here. It gets me into Basecamp really quickly. Welcome, Mary. I've already logged in. Now, I am a member of more than one club. So if I go here to choose a club, I can see both of my clubs here, To the Point and Literally Speaking. So I would make sure, like, I want to put this award toward To the Point. So I am going to make sure that that's the club that's highlighted. Now, if you as a Basecamp manager can't see your member in the list of members, that might be because they are a member of a second club and they are logged into their second club. If I leave myself logged in To the Point, like I am right now, Wendy, who's at Literally Speaking but a Basecamp manager, will not be able to see me. So Ron is in the waiting room, so we'll let him in. So I'm going to go ahead now. I am registered. I'm logging in To the Point. So I will just go. It doesn't really give me anything different here, other than I can go straight to my paths in learning. So I'm going to do this level completion in team collaboration. So I always tell people, don't ever click on the name, just click on the blue buttons. The blue buttons is what you need to remember. So open curriculum. I want to do level 2. And I have completed this active listening project. And I will just say really quickly that I did this active listening project, unlike they describe as being a table topic master and commenting to people about their responses. I did this active listening project as a Toastmaster in a contest where the Toastmaster is interviewing the contestants. And I based my interview questions on what each contestant had said in their speech. So that was an active listening project for me, and that was my evaluation. So that's what I mean on being creative about your projects. Try to take them further if you can. If you've done a path or two, think about how you can do this project, what it's asking you to do, in a slightly different way, and that would give you more of a challenge. So I'm going to go right into this project. It's going to take a minute to load here. Good morning, Ron. Gosh. Okay, so I went to the end here. This is where I was in the project. This is the last place I stopped. I'm going to go to this little drop-down menu. I like this menu down here because I can flip around and go to whatever part of the project that I want. But the piece I need here is assess your skills after. So I'm going to do this little assessment. I'm going to say that I know everything. I'm totally confident. I'm a great active listener. I ask questions, too many, because I take too long sometimes. I defer judgment when I'm listening, and that I think I'm pretty good at doing that. And I do know how this project applies outside of Toastmasters. The last one is always, I recognize how this project applies outside of Toastmasters, and I will submit the assessment. And then if I go forward, I will see this congratulations screen. Now, if let's see, I need to just get rid of this thing. Whoops, I don't want to end the meeting. Oh, okay. Couldn't remember how I did that. Anyway, I'm just going to close this tab because I want to go back to this screen here that shows me that I've done all the projects in level 2. So I'm going to submit this now for completion. And it's telling me that it's not activated, but all I need to do is activate. So really, just click the button. Click it again. And it'll just take me to a PDF that basically says that, okay, I'm done now. So I close that PDF. Where is it open? That's here, okay. And now this has changed to in progress. So now I want to mark it complete. This is the 3rd time I've clicked, by the way. And it's saying pending completion approval. So this is the point where we're going to go to the Basecamp manager, because at this point, I have submitted this level to be completed by my Basecamp manager. Now, the club that I entered this award at was To the Point. Brad is a Basecamp manager for To the Point. So Brad, I'm going to stop my share here. And I'm going to ask you to start sharing for To the Point.
Okay, just one moment. Oops, I moved the wrong screen.
So Brad needs to log in as the Basecamp manager for To the Point.
And share screen. That should be.
Wow, you've got an interesting look there, Brad. There, that's what I see. But you've got that black, and I normally have white.
Oh, I have dark mode on my screen.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just say that out loud so that everybody knows.
Yeah, I had dark mode on my screen because the white hurts my eyes.
Yeah.
So I am logged into Toastmasters and I've gone to my profile page, which is, as Mary finds, the easier way to get to things. So I want to log in as Basecamp manager for To the Point. So I'm going to check this off, that I'm logging in as Basecamp manager. And I'm also a member at Verbal Gains, but I'm not Basecamp manager there. And I'm operating for To the Point right now. Um, so I'll just go on that. And yeah, that's fine. So it shows you this, and you have pending requests, member progress, and manager tutorials. And I usually only really look at the pending requests because that's what's most present usually. So I see that there's one request by Mary Schindorfer for her level 2 team collaboration. And I would just click the yellow or the green check on there.
It's a very tiny thing, but that's all you do is check the little box.
Yeah, it's very small. And I usually like to write a little comment like, congratulations, Mary. Just a small thing, but it's a personalized at least. And
it also lets me know that Brad saw this.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it lets you know that I'm paying attention to who I'm approving. And so that can be an important factor, because you need to know who you're approving and what you're approving for, because am I going back to do in Club Central now as well?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So you need to keep in mind that information, because you need to enter it as well in Club Central. And I will just go back to my Toastmasters. I find it's annoying to get back to Toastmasters from Basecamp. So
it's way easier to do this way, I think. Go out, come in.
I just go to my name there, go to my profile, and then I want to go to Club Central, which is down here.
Okay, you know what? I go to Leadership Central, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It doesn't really matter how you get there.
Yeah,
There's more than one way.
Yeah, I usually go this way and then submit education awards. I'm assuming it's the same in Leadership Central.
Well, yeah, you just go after you go to Leadership Central, just a sub menu comes up underneath it, and you choose Club Central there. Like if you try it right now, it'll just open up that sub menu. You see?
Okay. Like under here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So just click there. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Club Central comes up.
Yeah.
There.
So you can get
it's
there
just the
that
same.
way, but I find like going to my profile, it just has it right here.
Yeah.
So I click on there, and then this thing comes up. So I'm going to submit education awards. And it takes a second. So it knows that I'm working with To the Point somehow.
Because you're logged in is To the Point. I mean, I think as well, you might not be an officer of Verbal Gains. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It will only give you a choice if you actually have a choice.
Okay, that's a good point. All right, so you're going to select your member, and we have a whole bunch of members here, but I'll scroll down and select Mary. And then it'll check her education program, which is Team Collaboration Level 2. And then I will review award submission and just check that it's the right information, that it's correct what I'm doing. Now, I mentioned about making sure you have the right path and level selected, because some people, Darlene, do multiple paths at once
Yes.
and they'll both show up. So if you confuse things, then it can get a little complicated. I'm not sure how to undo that. You'd probably have to talk to Pathways.
You can't undo things like actually you cannot. I don't know, maybe Club Central you can, but I know in Pathways you cannot take an award back.
Okay.
So make sure
Yeah,
you got it right.
Yeah, so if you do it by accident, then it can possibly mess a couple things up, but I'm sure that it can be worked around. So then you just submit your award. Takes a couple seconds. Would you like to do, if you have more awards to submit, then you can do that, or you can return to Club Central. And you get that annoying pop-up, and we're good to go. So your award has been submitted, Mary, in both platforms.
Okay,
And
I'm just going to check quickly, see. Oh yeah, okay. So I will show you this because it's kind of cool that it worked that fast. Brad, if you could stop your share, I will start mine. And you can see that it's that fast. So you see my level 2 completion now has a check mark and it says completed. It doesn't say it's pending, which is kind of cool that it's that fast. The one thing I'm not sure of if it is that fast is, I'm going to go to Toastmasters again because I find it, like Brad, this is faster just to log in again. I'm going to go to Leadership Central to the distinguished reports. Now, To the Point had one outstanding, it's got 3 outstanding level 2 awards on the DCP chart. So yeah, it's, oh, you know what? I didn't look. You know what? We should have checked this before we did this, but I think that check mark is indicating that this counted as a level 2 because we did not have 7.
Yeah, we had 6 points. So
anyway, the goal is to get the president's distinguished. So we need to get these 2 more points. In any case, I will stop my share now. So I wanted to make sure that it was really clear to everybody that you need to approve the award in Basecamp, and then you need to go into Club Central and enter the educational award. It will not show on your DCP chart unless you do both.
It's annoying, but that's the way it is. And it's
Pathways,
really, it's a small step. It's really not onerous.
And as you just keep in mind that Basecamp, Pathways, all that Pathways part does not talk to Club Central at all. So I've asked Wendy here today because Wendy is really very good at looking at the member progress. She's good at keeping track of that and approaching members about how are you doing and when are you going to get this done? So Wendy is going to show us about the member progress portion of that Basecamp manager role. I will turn it over to Wendy, president currently of Literally Speaking.
Thank you, Mary. One of the roles as president, which is slightly different than VP Education, is to manage the club success plan. And part of that is the distinguished club points. So some of you have heard of this and some of you have not. You will be becoming much more acquainted. Mary gave us a little show of where you can see your points, but it's important to use the member progress to see who is getting close to finishing certain levels so that you can see where you're doing with your club goals as far as the club success plan and also the distinguished club points. I am going to share my screen, which funny thing will look a lot like everyone else's screen. Here I am on my main Toastmasters login page. As you can see, it says welcome Wendy at the top. Just to be contrarian, I don't go into Basecamp from my name, mainly because that is not the way I learned. So I will show you the other way into Basecamp as a Basecamp manager. You click on the tab called Pathways, click on Go to Basecamp, and you have this slightly different screen. So your other way into your own Basecamp to work on your paths, or you will see this extra tab once you become a Basecamp manager. So this will not happen for you until July 1st, which is too bad that we can't overlap by a month to train one another, but that's not the way it is. So you will not see this until July 1st. I want to be the Basecamp manager, so I'm going to log in, and that will bring me to the same screen that you have already seen, Brad and Mary. Let's see if I can make that a bit bigger. Alrighty. So we just went through pending requests. Now I'm going to draw your attention to the tile that says member progress. Member progress is one of the greatest assets for a Basecamp manager and indeed a club leader. When you select member progress, you have 6 options along the left-hand side. I'm going to pop up here to individual progress. It's important for me to point out right now that generating reports in any of these 6 areas is done in exactly the same way. So I won't be going through all 6 of them. I will go through a couple. Every time you go in, it takes your computer a moment to pull up the data. The second thing I would like to point out about this screen and any one of the 6 is right at the top, you see the instructions of how you can generate a report. And I say that because the printing is so small that you might not notice it and you think you have to sort of memorize how to work through these reports. You don't. You just need to follow the steps 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the individual progress tab, it will show you every member and a bar graph. So if I look at our first member, Vanny, her bar graph shows that in level 1, she has completed or is working on a total of 2 projects. If we jump down to Darlene, she has completed or is working on 9 projects in level 1. So the reason I point this out is it's confusing. If we pop down to me, it looks like I'm just like really, really busy. This isn't necessarily true. It is, as Mary has said, I have 3 pathways open. And as soon as I hit launch on one of my projects, it shows up here as in progress. And I may just be looking at it to see if I want to do that project. So it doesn't tell you when a level has been completed. It tells you how many projects are open in level 1 for each person, and all the way down through the 5 levels. So if we go back up to our instructions at the top, the first thing that you want to do is to refresh your screen. Now, I am not going to refresh because it takes a long time sometimes, and I just did it at 9:46 a.m., as you can see at the bottom of the box. However, when you first come on, you haven't been on for 2-3 weeks, a month, you would click the down arrow at options and click refresh, and all 5 of these graphs will be refreshed. The second step is I want to hover over the box that I want more information from. Again, I've pre-done this because it does take some time. So we're going to look at level 4. And when my mouse is not in the box, all you see is the bar graphs. As soon as I pop into the box, I get a down arrow. So the next step after hover is to press that down arrow and select View Details. This will give you more details about that particular level, and I am going to show that to you now. Unfortunately, I don't know how to share multiple screens. So I'm hoping that you're now seeing that level 4 projects in progress, but at the bottom, you will now get all of the details for each of those bars. So for example, we had Darlene first. It will show you the project, which path, whether it's required or an elective, and whether it has been completed already or is in progress. Why would this be interesting or important? There are a couple of things. You can look at this and see where your club is in regards to their goals. So sometimes in a success plan, a club will decide that they want a certain number of education points, education awards a year. An education award is a level completion, and or they're working towards a distinguished club designation. So they can look and see how close someone is getting to finishing. I know I am at 7 minutes here because I have my timer going, but I'm going to pop back to that main screen. Oops, I picked the wrong one. I haven't learned how to share 2 screens at one time like some of our fancier people. All right, I'm back to that main screen that shows us the 6 options on the side. As I said, I'm not going to go through all 6 because the process of generating a report is exactly the same, but the content that you get is different. So in level completions, you will be able to see how many level 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s are completed. And again, that will help you to determine your DCP points and establish club goals. You can look and see how many paths are in progress and how many are completed. Again, it takes just a couple seconds to wake up as soon as you jump into a new path. So on this one, which I find very interesting as the president who's sort of watching what's going on, it is not my role as president to check in with members and their paths. That would be something that the VP of Education is already doing. However, I'm watching to see if people are getting through their levels and communicating with VP Ed and also the whole executive to see how we can achieve the goal of distinguished club. So at the top, it shows you all of the pathways that you have members registered in. So all 13 or 14 pathways are not necessarily here. And then it shows registered, in progress, and completed. Again, you can then go down to any one of these boxes and get more information. Because we're coming to the end of the year, I will point out the paths completed. Our club and many clubs celebrate all of the educational awards and achievements. This is a quick and easy way to see which members have completed pathways. Again, on this screen, it just shows you the paths that have been completed. In view details, you would be able to see who has completed them, and then you can celebrate those individuals. Mary,
Wendy, I just wanted to interject here. You have lots of time, by the way.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that because I am a member of both of these clubs, literally speaking and to the point, but I am logged in right now at To the Point. Wendy will not be able to see me on her reports. So that is just, it's something that's kind of confusing. If you do not see a member, contact that member and find out, are they maybe a member of another club? Are they logged into a different club? That's a really critical piece. Also, I was going to say that Wendy was talking about club success and completions. So she's looking at the DCP, the overall points that the club has achieved. If I am wanting to achieve levels and contribute points to both of my clubs, I need to be careful to be logged into the correct club to complete that award. For example, this one, I was very very cognizant of being logged into To the Point so that I could give that level two to the point. But I want to say that a member can only contribute one educational award from one type per club per year. So I can still achieve lots of level twos, but this level two I've given to the Point. If I do another level two in June, if I just finish one up and I get it done in June, I cannot have it count toward the DCP at To the Point. I would need to give it, or I don't know, I think I've done level twos in both clubs now.
Yeah.
So
Join
I
another
will
club.
join another club. Anyway, go ahead, Wendy.
Mary was talking about distinguished performance club reports, and so I have popped into Leadership Central, which again, when you are a leader, you have access to things that others in the club do not have. We spoke about Club Central. As president and then as VP Education, you are going to be watching to see how your club is doing as far as their distinguished club points. And
Just as an aside, I'm sorry to interrupt, Wendy.
no, that's okay.
Anybody, every club member can check the DCP anytime. Any person who's not a member can check the DCP anytime. So this really has some far-reaching impact, if you want. Because if your club is a high-performing club and you have lots of points, people know. People in the big world can see that. Go ahead, Wendy. Sorry.
And so do all members have access to the reports within this section as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But as a club leader, there are several other things on this distinguished performance section that aren't just about the distinguished club points. For example, there is something on the left-hand sidebar called daily reports. And I would say at best, this is a curiosity. I am sure it is a very useful tool if you're a club leader, as in a division or area director, because you can look at some of the things that are going on within the entire district compared to your area, your club, or your division. For example, you can generate a report on all of the education achievements within the district. Again, this is a curiosity, not necessarily something that you must do. However, I bring it to your attention because maybe you want to see how your club is doing compared to others, and or you just want to pop in and see how your members are doing. On the daily reports for educational achievements in District 42, you can sort by any one of these file headings at the top. It is sorted by club right now. Not that useful to me because I don't necessarily memorize all of the clubs. So I'm going to sort them by name. For whatever reason, it chooses reverse alphabetical order on the first click. But if you would like alphabetical order, just click it again. Now you can go down and you can look at your friends. Like, let's look at Bedstone Olympics. They have been busy this year. Another note is this is only for the current year. So it is from July 1st of 2021 to June 30th. So it doesn't take in the full year, but it will by the end of June. So I'm going to pop down to my club, which is Literally Speaking, and I will have a list. I knew my alphabet of the educational awards that our club has achieved this year. Now, this isn't the only place I can find out this information, but again, it's not our job or not our goal here to overwhelm you with how to find things. However, I do want to point out that all of this information is provided in tutorials. So when we pop back to the Basecamp Manager's homepage, you will see a third tile on your screen that is called tutorials. When I started as a Basecamp manager, I went through each of the tutorials, and these are specifically for Basecamp management. However, I will also warn you, at the moment, these are not completely up to date. They do have lots of useful information. However, the screens have changed slightly. So whenever you're on the Toastmasters International pathway, keep your eye out for the word tutorials. It exists on Club Central on that homepage and also in the Basecamp Manager homepage. Thanks, Mary.
Wendy, I wanted to know if you could make a comment in the daily reports. We have a question here. There are a number of places where it says name unavailable. Could you comment on that?
In the privacy settings on your Toastmasters International profile, you can choose to have your name withheld for privacy reasons that you don't want everyone to have your name. However, your award will still show for that club, and your ID number, your club member ID number will show, but not your name. So that is a personal choice. And perhaps some members have made it and they don't realize that that's the case, but others just aren't comfortable having their name there for everyone in the district, in the area, division, area, and club to see. So it is just identified by number and club number.
We are doing just great for time today. Wonderful. I'm wondering, we're moving ahead now to the Q&A part. I'm wondering if anybody has any specific questions about anything you've seen today or about a specific task.
I don't have
Yes.
necessarily a question. I have a comment, if I may.
Okay, Ali.
Yes.
We'll get to Chris right after that.
Yeah, I believe it could be useful for many of the for many of you. The thing is, as mentioned, that there are two steps for approving a level.
Yes.
The first step is in the pathway. The second step is in the Club Central. In the
Correct.
pathway, as a club, I forgot the name now.
Basecamp manager.
Basecamp manager. As a Basecamp manager, you can approve your own level, and it shows as a tick mark. But in the Club Central, you don't even see your name to be able to approve yourself. You have to ask another Basecamp manager or another club officer to go and does the approval for you in the Club Central.
That's a really good point, Ali.
And another point is when you do in the pathway, the members see that the tick mark, so everything looks okay. But you're not going to get the DCP unless you approve it in the pathway. So you may,
Club Central.
do the first step and see everything is okay. But notice, oh, why we didn't get the point? That's because you didn't approve it in the pathway, in the Club Central.
In Club Central, correct. There needs to be approval in Basecamp and then enter as an educational award in Club Central. And actually, any officer can enter an educational award in Club Central, but only Basecamp managers can do that approval in Basecamp. So you're absolutely correct. It needs to be in both places, and you cannot do your own in Club Central, but you can do your own in Basecamp Manager. So it's a little confusing that way. And Wendy also showed the daily reports. The daily reports are not reflecting the DCP. They are only, it's reflecting what is been entered by a member in pathways. So for example, I might have 14 level 2s. Well, sorry, I can only count one per club. So it's not going to reflect all of that on the DCPs of my club. Thank you, Ali. That was a great comment. Chris, you had a question or comment.
Yeah, it's regarding the only one level. Like I'm currently working towards my second level 1 award in an effort to help out my club, but you're saying you can only do 1 per year for credit. Is that true?
Yeah. 1 per club per year. That's correct. In terms of DCP, you will still be acknowledged as completing a level 1. However, your club will not receive credit for that level 1.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
if you're doing it for the DCP credit, then you might hold off and submit that after the July break start.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of strategy that clubs sometimes do at this point in the year, holding awards off and entering them in the next year. But I caution you on that. It's really appropriate to make sure that if that is what you decide to do, make sure that is what the member wants, because those awards really belong to the member. The member has achieved them and has worked toward them. I might have a personal goal that I want to get this level done by the end of June, so I'm really working hard on it. So if Brad decides to hold off on that, I'm ticked off about that. You know, it's like that if we're going on the Toastmasters core values of respect and integrity, service and excellence, not consulting me is a problem. The work of the club is reflected in those awards. So for example, I know a club, Ron, if you're still here, you might speak to that. They had a club, they had a goal as a club of getting 20 level 1 awards. Well, you only get credit for 4 of them. It doesn't matter the counting, but they had a goal, a big goal as a club to achieve all those level 1s. So that becomes the bigger deal. You don't start strategizing and holding on to awards to the next year if that is the goal. So you don't know what the big goal is sometimes. Maybe a member is wanting to earn a Triple Crown this year. Maybe you just want to have a club goal of achieving a certain number of awards this year. Those goals become important. They're as important as a DCP. So make sure that is what your member wants before you simply hold it off.
Mm-hmm. Is that level limitation, is that stated somewhere, or is that just something that you've figured out from experience? Like, do they have that written somewhere that you can't have credit for 2 level 1?
You know what? I know that one, but I can look that up, Chris, and find that for you if you like.
Yeah, because the reason why, like, our club's trying to get to President's Distinguished as well, and we have 3 members that are on the cusp of completing their level 1, but I'm doing my level 1 as a backup just in case they don't get those done by the end of June.
I see. Okay.
So I would like to know whether I'm wasting my time, because I would rather do my other pathway and continue with it than to continue with my level 1 on a new one.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will look that information up and I will find that. But yeah.
I don't mind doing that legwork. Do you know where I would go to look for that, or who I should talk to?
It would be an education question. So if you go to Toastmasters International and
oh yeah, they have an email that says like education at
and just ask that say level 1 has already been counted towards the DCP credit of my club. I'm working right now on another level 1. If I complete it in this education year, will it count?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good for you. Any other questions?
Mary?
Yes, Wendy.
I did not speak about external training because
that's a good idea.
I haven't done it myself, though we've had members in our club that have done it, and I do have requests pending to approve. However, Val is the person who has done her speeches outside the club and therefore applied for this external training. Do you want us to touch on that, or?
Yeah, Val's not in the room anymore. Oh, you're there. Go ahead, Val. You want to speak
Lordy.
to that?
Sure. You guys don't really want me talking at all right now, but okay. I'm not prepared to share a screen, but just so that everybody knows, when you are presenting a speech for a project outside of your club. Maybe it's at district training like this, like what's coming up, or maybe you're a guest at another club. There is a way for you to still receive the credit towards your own docket in your own pathway. And that is by choosing the external, a speech done externally. It's called external training. And when you're on the beginning part of your path, it's on the top right-hand side with the 3 little ellipse buttons, and probably probably Wendy or Mary will be able to share a screen to show that. And then it's simply a form. You fill out a form and you say where it's at and where you're giving it, what your plans are. And when you submit it, it goes to the base camp managers, and then the base camp managers can then approve it. It's pretty simple, but it is a way of, like, what do you do when you are presenting at district training and you want to be able to, you've been evaluated for a speech project, to be able to get credit for that. All right, so top right, yeah, pass and learning on the top, whoever is this, Wendy? Yeah, right there. Okay, go down at the bottom, yeah, right there. And then there's the form. Okay, you just fill it out if you scroll down.
So when you submit this form, Val, it just goes straight to the base camp manager?
Yeah, and it just see on the submit on the bottom, it just you just press submit and it submits. And then Wendy, you received an email, right, from me, Wendy? I mean, not
Yes,
from
I
me.
did. Yeah.
So
When you
yeah.
did this, yeah.
So I've done 2 or 3 external training, and it's just automatic. You just fill it out. It's very simple. And then one of the base camp managers gets an email, and then they approve it from there. And then it shows up with your check mark that yes, you've completed.
So
I did
Val,
so good.
And
you
then-
did really well.
I'll show you from my end.
So this is just to complete a specific project as opposed to a level, correct? You can just
Right.
nod, Val.
Yeah, a project. Sorry, I forgot my camera was still on. Yes, a project. So you've done active listening somewhere else,
Yes.
or you've done an innovative planning project. I can't
Yes.
think when I'm sick. Can you tell?
And then this is how it shows up when the project came to me. I approved Val to do that project outside of the club. And then once she went through her project and still did the same steps of completing that, it shows me she spoke for Centennial Club and she presented as a guest speaker for another club. Because we had that communication, normally Val would have done this, but because Val is our VP of education, but I had to do it for, like, to approve her because she can't approve herself. So because Val and I have had that communication, I know that she completed these, and I would be able to now go, I saved these just in case we were going to do it today. I would now be able to go and complete that as an approval that she has completed those. So that's
Wendy, after they're completed, do you still see them on a screen, or do they just go into the netherworld?
yeah, they just go like
They
exactly
vanish. Okay.
how
They're
Well,
Brad-
that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Val and Wendy. I really appreciate that.
That's very cool. It's nice to see that. Thank you. I
Thank
never
you.
knew about that.
It's
Well-
a very secret. It's top secret, Brad. Only
It should not be. Like,
it's very, very hidden. And I have to admit how I found this is by saying to myself, okay, seriously, there has to be a way to do this. And I had to search and search and search. And then underneath that 3 little button, I was like, what?
wow.
The other note on that is it doesn't have to be a project you're doing at another Toastmasters club. You can do a project at your community center, something within work you're using it as a Toastmasters project. But again, it needs to be approved by your VP Ed, which means just you need to communicate with them. And you would also need to have your own person who is a Toastmaster evaluate that project. So that's the thing. If I were to do a speech at my local community center, I would need to also encourage one of my members to come and evaluate me on that project. And then it's all above board.
And it
Thank you
looks
so
like-
much, Wendy.
Sorry, it looks
What's
like
that,
you
Val?
can add files to that as well. So you can upload your evaluation files and stuff like that.
Yes.
But you
and
don't need
can-
to.
You don't need
You don't
to.
need
but
to.
you can.
You can also upload your, maybe you were presenting something with a PowerPoint, you could upload that. Maybe it's a picture of you presenting at your community center. You could upload that. And then everything that helps your VP of education or in this case, the president approve it is helpful.
Yeah, I think it's important as a VP Ed to kind of have a bit of an idea. It really sounds like when you look at some of the tutorials and things that you need to really check up on your members and make sure that they're actually finishing what they're saying that they're finishing. And generally, when you're at your club meetings, you have an idea who is doing what, because you're seeing it happening at your club meetings. You know the people that you, I mean, like Brad just approved my level 2 this morning, and he's confident in me, right, Brad?
Fairly, yeah, yeah.
He's been seeing me. He's been seeing me do those projects in the club. He might not have seen me do that, the contest one though, and I didn't, like Val, fill in the external form, so he might not have an idea. That's why the external form is helpful, because it lets your VP Ed or lets your Basecamp managers know that you've been speaking, you've been doing some other speaking.
Mhm.
So Ricardo, you're a person who's done some other speaking. That might actually be a thing that you could use to help let your VP Ed or the other people who are Basecamp managers in your club know that you're doing other speaking. So it's 11 o'clock now, and I want to be respectful of everybody's name. Everybody, I'm looking at my name there in the chat, spelled Amory. Val can't spell when she's sick. In any case, I want to thank you all for coming today. I'm going to stop the recording right now. Brad, you can stop your recording anytime.